Former U.S. President Donald Trump has defended himself against a string of criminal investigations in an address to his supporters at his Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. He pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts in a Manhattan courtroom on Tuesday, the first sitting of former U.S. president to do so. Gabriel Elizondo has more from New York.
They are images that will go down in U.S. history. Donald Trump arriving at a court in Manhattan. Gone was the traditional swagger that has defined Trump's persona. Today, the former president was uncharacteristically somber, as he became the first current or former president to ever be charged with a crime. And this is what he's been charged with, the indictment being unsealed before Trump in the courtroom. 34 felony counts, including falsifying business records and other charges stemming from a $130,000 hush money payment to a former adult film star. Donald Trump pleaded not guilty to all the charges. The case against Trump laid out later by the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg.
34 false statements made to cover up other crimes. These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct.
However, the indictment did not impress Trump's legal team.
He's frustrated, he's upset, but I'll tell you what, he's motivated, and it's not going to stop him, and it's not going to slow him down.
Earlier, outside the courthouse, the anticipation had built to a fever pitch as both supporters and detractors of the former president gathered outside.
It's a phony case. Everybody knows that. Political persecution.
Today is the beginning of a long series of potential prosecutions ahead.
Finally, after hours of waiting, Trump's motorcade arrived right past our camera. Donald Trump's motorcade arriving here at the courthouse. He's in one of these vehicles, a historic moment.
It's a very scary time. It's a very fragile time for American democracy. And not only should Americans be nervous, but people around the world should be as well.
This is just the start of what likely will be a long legal battle. The next phase will be a trial. Trump's lawyers argued to the judge that they don't want that trial to begin until the middle of next year, putting it right smack in the middle of a presidential campaign, one in which it's probable Trump himself would be a top contender for the Republican nomination. Trump left court without comment after more than 2 hours inside. Later in the evening, when Trump returned to his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, he broke his silence.
This fake case was brought only to interfere with the upcoming 2024 election, and it should be dropped immediately.
Trump showing his defiance against a judicial process that is very much in motion. Gabriel Elizondo, Al Jazeera, New York.
Well, let's take a closer look at the case against the former U.S. president. A statement from the district attorney's office said from August 2015 to December 2017, Trump orchestrated his catch-and-kill scheme through a series of payments that he then concealed through months of false business entries. In one instance, the DA alleges $30,000 was paid to a former Trump Tower doorman who claimed to have a story about a child Trump had out of wedlock. In a second instance, $150,000 was paid to a woman who alleged she had a sexual relationship with Trump. And in a third instance, 12 days before the presidential general election, $130,000 was wired to an attorney for an adult film actress. Michelle Bernard's a lawyer, political analyst, and the president of the Bernard Center for Women, Politics and Public Policy. She says the district attorney has a strong case against the former president.
It appears that his strategy is not a new one. It will be to call the investigation and the case fake. Just like we became accustomed to hearing the former president use the terms fake news, I expect and strongly suspect that we will continue to hear him say that this is a fake investigation. It is a fake case. I believe that he will continue to say that it is politically motivated and go back to discuss a lot of the things that we used to hear him say about many, many things that were happening here in the United States, including cases of quote unquote election fraud, which we know never happened. What they presented us with were just the bare bone facts. There's not a long preamble. There's not a long statement of facts to go along with each element of the offense that he has been charged with. It feels like a strong case. If you ask me to rate it 1 out of 10, with 10 being the highest likelihood of him being found guilty, I would probably rate it at a 7 or an 8, which is a high probability. It's not a sexy case. It is a case of of falsifying documents with the intent to commit another crime. What will be more interesting is to see whether or not this is a one and only case, or if this is the beginning of an avalanche of cases that we are going to see coming after the former president on the state level and at the federal level.